yesterday. Uh, and just so everybody knows, now this session is being recorded. Okay, that's your public service announcement. So if you have any questions, anything else, we're gonna recognize you. You can put some in the chat. If you want to, we're gonna answer the questions. Anything else? This is already our first meeting other than doing the initial all officials meeting. And we're gonna have this here. I'm gonna do it on a weeknight, probably hopefully every Monday night. I didn't want to do it last night because many of you glued to the TV to watch the NCAA National Championship basketball game. But there's been some changes, some things I've seen throughout the season so far. And as we go forward, I'll tell you about the particular dates and everything else that are in the upcoming events. But the first thing is, now I sent out the initial administrative requirements. Didn't highlight anything other than the main two things we had to overcome was the NCHSA state rules clinic, and then we had the NFHSA exam. Now, those two things, at this point, you didn't go to state clinic or you didn't take the test, you can get that waived. And we know what throughout the nation, there are 50,000 officials, I'll say shortage that we would be in any other year. And those numbers has been steadily decreasing since 2020 when we hit the pandemic. But we still have a significant nationwide shortage of officials. I will tell you, I constantly say this, and not to shorten anybody, like anyone, is that I don't necessarily need more officials. I need better officials. I say that all the time. Not in it. You'll get what I'm saying later. But some of the things, aside from those, the NCHSAs, the state clinic, and the exam. Now, one thing, if you did take the exam, you made a 75, that was the qualifying score for 75 to officiate JV and varsity softball. Now, to be eligible for the postseason, you had to make a qualifying score of 80. Okay, I don't know. Those are just interject this right now. We have a new supervisor of officials. I said new. Mark Drobovich's last day is the 30th of April. I think actually his last day is the 29th. And the new supervisor of officials, the individual that's coming in to fill that position on his departure, is a Cecil Mock, M-O-C-K. I'll send that out to everybody. At some point, he's going to probably on a Zoom clinic, he's going to eventually get out and visit all the different areas. And I don't know if he's going to be at a next state clinic, which won't be to football, or maybe in volleyball, whenever we have that, it'll be out in the fall. But he may come out and make some business prior to then. Because I'll make sure everybody gets ample notice and go out and meet him. His background is in wrestling and baseball, softball. In fact, he was actually a minor league baseball umpire. So and as you know, when I say Mark's last day is this month, 30th, the state championships is going to be June the 3rd and 4th. And our association will have a softball state championship this year. So those that work there, I'm sure will meet him. But he's very familiar with that. So that's going to help a lot, especially initially coming in. He's currently the assistant principal, I think, Eastern Randolph. But he may be, I don't know exactly what day he's going to actually leave there and be up at the NCHSA full time. But I'm saying that that's for the 80 on the postseason. You had to do the concussion course. And I don't know going into next year. Right now, our registration is still handled by Dragonfly. And our sign-in platform remains to be the Arbiter. Now, they may merge, they may do some things we don't know as it pertains to the next school year. And they'll keep us the rest of how that's going to happen. But right now, we have some people here, and hopefully I have new people on here tonight that come in, and I constantly have to go into the Dragonfly because someone registers. You might be registered in Dragonfly, but I still have to go and put you on and send you an invitation to my Orbiter group. And then those of you, and we'll get into that discussion a little later, that I'll send out invitations. Those that did football and didn't do basketball or softball previously, you've got an invitation. Some of you got an invitation today.
So I can.
And I still need to invite some other people to my Orbiter group. So again, the platform for signing is Orbiter, and registration is Dragonfly. The other things, the local clinics, this is one of them, and we're going to do that by Zoom, but I'm going to have an on-field. And I say that on-field is not going to be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I would like to have the culture here set where everybody needs to improve. Regardless of your service, your time that you've officiated and where you officiated. My expectation is I want to have an atmosphere where everybody can improve. And because that's true. I mean, but the first on-field clinic I'm going to have by invitation. We have 2 varsity games on this Saturday, April the 9th, at Grace Creek High School. One's at 11 o'clock, one's at 1. Grace Creek is going to play McMichael High School, and then they're going to play Pinecrest High School. And both of those games, we're going to use the 3-umpire officiating system. I will coordinate with Grace Creek. I'll do that tomorrow. I will send an invitation by invitation only for people to come out and do some basically on-field things. How we period, how we do, whether we work the rim, whether we work going in button hood on base hits, basic safe and out calls, some basics, mechanics work. Now I'll have one for everybody. Now spring break for Cumberland County schools and most schools in our area, in our region, it begins. Good Friday is the 15th. There will be no softball and no sporting events on the 15th. Then the following week, the 18th to the 22nd, there will be a spring break. Okay. Now, April the 16th, that Saturday, is the Robeson County Slugfest. There will be play games on that day, on the 16th, and then on that Monday, on the 18th, they will have games at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. For those 2 days, then on that Tuesday, final day for the Slugfest for softball, they're going to play at 1, 4, and 7. Again, so if you're doing your Orbiter, if you need you to address April the 16th, the 18th, and the 19th. I will have games on that day. If you look at the master calendar, you will see there are games and a lot of TBAs in there. They haven't told me seedings and everything else. The games will be played in Robeson County. And that way, I just don't have the matchups yet. They're going to do the matchups, and I'll put those games out. We will use the 2-umpire system, and like I say, 4 games on the 16th, 4 games on the 18th, and 3 games on the 19th. Now, the other requirements, I haven't reviewed it, but I'll review it this weekend, and that is the SSOA membership dues. SSOA membership dues, you pay that's effective July the 1st of this 21, well, it's 21, all the way to June the 30th, 2022, this year. If you did a sport already, should have already paid one time, and this covers you for the entire year. You can officiate as many sports in the fall, winter, and spring. You pay one fee, and it's good for that year. Whether you do one sport or you do 8 sports, it'd be awful. That's kind of lacrosse is one, but it's both men's and women's lacrosse. So if you haven't paid now, I'll look at the membership this week, and I would rather you just go pay. It's creating work for someone else to go and just tell you you're paid. You know whether you're paid or not. Really, right now, the only way that you pay that is we have a PO box. And I'll put that out after the meeting tonight and tell you what PO box, what the address is. Just mail it in. You make it payable to SSOA, and that is for the 21-22 school year. The other fee is the assigning fee. The max we can charge on any regional supervisor for softball is one varsity game fee. Varsity game fee is $71.50. The booking and signing fee is $70. All right. I have a PO box that you mail that to. You can send that on Cash App. You can send that on PayPal. You just use my email address and do that. I talked to someone and they asked me, "Hey, you got an iPhone?" Yes, I have an iPhone. I don't Apple Pay. A lot of different ways you can pay. I mean, I don't. Some of you have. And I will send some of that. I held some of those checks because I want to make sure we had the season and that everybody should have. If you on this call, you've gotten the game. You've got enough to pay the booking fee. I will make that suspense to the 14th because everybody enough time. Season began on the 28th, and you make that payable to Errol Daniels. Like I said, I'll put that and the membership fee. I'll put that out there again and send that in. Now, some things was found unique the other day is that someone sent the payment in, they didn't sign the check. So I'll be coordinating with them. Someone else wrote the check out in blue and signed it in black. So that's a no-go. I found out from the bank, they don't take that. So again, use the same type of skill set, everything else, to make sure you do that. I mean, like if you pay the booking fee, that's fine. But all those are the administrative things here that do. And I want to have all the administrative done before we break the spring break. And I'll send that out as we go forward. I mean, I'll send out tonight. One of the things, now I've already made the first payment, the second payment, you work the game. The schools that I pay for, schools that I pay, I've sent first payment out already. Now I'm going out to send the second. I mean, the schools that I pay for is the only middle school. I mean, here is all Britain Middle School, all the schools in Sampson County. We used to pay for Hopton, they don't pay now. Of course, that's Village Christian, Fayetteville Christian. Let's see, I got Freedom. Fayetteville Academy doesn't have a team. I think they combined with, it's a football team. In the schools that I pay, you should receive a check every 2 weeks. And probably going to get down, hopefully by the end of this week, next week, maybe receive a check at the game site. They do have, I don't know if they're going to have, last year we had Riverside, which they pay on site. They hosted the state championship. Some of them are going to have seen some dates. They may have some postseason games. I'll begin with the private schools and hopefully have all those out. I want to put those dates out there where you'll know. Again, the criteria that I use is that, the same thing the NCHSA uses, but it's no requirement. Some of you who haven't taken the U-School 75, you can still work the postseason games towards regular for the private schools. I use the same criteria that those individuals who've done that, all the things they're supposed to do, and they say, you paid your booking fee. If you did all the things, I can't send you to the postseason tournaments if you're not. If not, I shouldn't be even signing your games if you haven't paid the $100 or SSOA membership fees. But again, as long as we get straightened down, because as we go deep into the season, I'm gonna use that same thing. The postseason is conference tournament considered postseason play. Okay. And in the postseason play, the conference tournament, we have the All-American Conference, 4A, 3A conference. Another 4A, 3A conference is we got the All-American, the Sand Hills, and the United 8. Now, if you read the high school OT and other publications in the state of North Carolina, the United 8 is the #1 ranked softball conference in the state. I've talked to a couple of their senior leaders, the ADs, and they're going to work in the postseason in their conference tournament. In the United, they will probably use a 3-person system for both semifinals and the championship. And I'm going to be addressing the other 4A, 3A conferences, be it at a minimum that they allow that to happen for the championship games. Each one of those conference tournaments now is scheduled. We do have our 1A, 2A conferences, some very competitive teams in there as well. But I'm going to try to get as much experience for those individuals in that 3-person mechanics. You won't be able to, once the playoffs start, first 2 rounds, they will go to the local association, and thereafter will be assigned by the state. That NCHSA, they would tell me how many games I get 3rd round, 4th round, and in the regional series. Whether, we may get, used to be at one time where we would get the entire series. Now they will give us 1 game, the first game, the second game, or it could be deciding the 3rd game of a series. We won't know that until probably the new assigner, new supervisor official comes in some month. They thought about extending that to have the local association do the first 4 rounds. I think it's a consensus among the regional supervisors that we like the idea of first 2 rounds. Thereafter, we get a neutral group. All right. So if you haven't paid the signing fee and or your SSOA membership fee, you need to get that in. And like I say, I will put the address out for both of those. $70 for the sign-up fee, $20 for the membership fee. Concussion course, if you've done the concussion course, but one time they was allowing the supervisors to go in and annotate that. Now, if you complete the course, it should be uploaded right through National Federation, but it's not. All you have to do is either forward by text, by email, forward it to me. I will send it up to the state, and they will make sure you get credit for that. But all those things have to be completed prior to any type of postseason play. The schools that I pay, like I say, if you have, I got something today, I would tell you, one of the individuals notified me that they hadn't got paid by our school being in Scotland, and that was on the game they had on the 29th, which was last Tuesday. Found out Friday, when I talked to them. Now, they have let their arbiter pay account finish to the point they can't pay the officials for a game. All right. So if you worked in Scotland on the 29th, I don't want to call no names, but Rendon Richie and Chris Williams, hey, the money right now, instead of writing you a bad check, they got your money held up. You worked on the April 1st, and some people going to Scotland tomorrow. I have talked to the AD, the head coach, and one another assistant principal. I'll probably be talking to the principal because, again, just because they let that, they don't have the funds, they continue, they want to play. Or I'm going to be finding out when they can pay and when that money is going to do. Because, I mean, I don't want to continue to let that go. I mean, I've actually talked to the bookkeeper, and but again, that happens. That's why I would prefer, if it's more than 3 days, that's one of the guidance that I use for both basketball and any other sports that I supervise, that I want to know, hey, they have 3 days. We pay, you work an assignment. And that was really the 3 days, was because if you worked on a Friday, sometimes you get games on Friday night after school, and the bookkeeper may not be there, whoever does that all the day. It doesn't have to be the bookkeeper, it could be anyone they designate. So the thing was that, hey, they have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days. That's where that came from. If you have a game on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's no reason why they can't pay. Some schools pay the same day. Some people, once the game starts, some people pay that the day off. Again, so I mean, I got someone just sent me an email reminding me that Lewis Chapel hadn't paid. So let me do that. Before you call the school, I will follow up on they don't pay. Normal times, I want to ask you, who is your partner? Because again, some school, I wasn't aware that Sampson County was delivering checks this year. Some of the middle schools, they used to pay by arbiter, now they're paying by check. And if some schools that pay by check, especially on short notice like we had today, We had West Bladen, East Bladen, Red Springs, Fairmont, some of those schools. If they had a game, some of our games today got suspended. Well, they stopped, and then they're gonna play tomorrow. Might be sending 2 other officials. So by the time I make that assignment, and the 2 new officials go there, they don't have time to get the check and get it signed and all those other things. You go to a school and they pay by check, and they don't have your check that day. Lead me to the scene. Just send me a text. Look, work at East Bladen. I worked here. Check wasn't ready, and they're gonna put it in the mail, or whatever the case may be. And I like to follow up on that because I prefer them. That's why I try at least get assignments out a week ahead of time. Like if we got 2 weeks, when someone comes off a game for various reasons, somebody's just on there. Sometimes it's hard to do. But again, I try to let them know enough times. When I send those games out there, and if I ask you, I need you to accept or decline the game. That's why, because I want your check to be ready before the game. Now, if it's the first time you go to a school, and like I say, we have some new officials. The first time you go there, sometimes they call and ask me for your social security numbers. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I don't do social security numbers. And when I say that, Auburn used to go in there, you could put them in that I couldn't see them. They would put the little asterisks in there and stuff like that for the last 4, whatever. But now you have to call the school. They will call me at times and say, look, I don't have this individual's social security number. So I will call you, and you call directly to the bookkeeper. Once you're in there, you'll be going, whatever sport you do at that school, they'll have it. But the first time you go, they'll have that voucher ready. So when you get there, that's why it's imperative that you get there early so you can fill out the paperwork if needed. I just got a text message, East Bladen been mailing the checks out. I'm gonna call East Bladen tomorrow and ask why do they, hey, if you got the names of the officials 2 weeks in advance or 3 days in advance, because I'm glad, and see, that's why we have these meetings, not just because of just rules and interpretations and different things. That you got to keep that kind of communication. But I will call them tomorrow, and the same thing I say with West Bladen, all the people, all the schools that they buy on site, not the deal, but the pages are, when you get there, you go there, they will have a form for you to sign for your check. And then you go into your pregame and all that stuff, you put the check. I mean, not that you forget, they bring them out when you're on the field. When you get there, you let somebody know in administration that you're there. And they pay by sight. We don't chase money. And that's not what I want you to do. I mean, that's not what I want to do, but that's what I will do. So for all the pay, the school that I pay, and one thing is that when you decline games, declinations and turnbacks, now I look at the arbiter. I don't assign you a game if you're blocked for that time frame. The arbiter tells me, now it's times that I'll have a game that I'll put you on and it's pending. And while it's pending, you may go in and block afterwards. Now they got a thing where they will tell me when I get ready to publish the game, it will send me a note saying, hey, you assigned the game, the person wasn't blocked, but now they are. Okay. Well, if you get a game while you block, that's what happens. It's an ending game. And when you go in the block, you can probably see something light blue, something that means, say, sometimes you were blocked, but at the time it's pending. And that's some of those things is that I will leave that up to you. You say that, that's all you got to do in the box. If you decline it, you just put in there. At the time, some people do it all the time. I thought I was blocked. No, you weren't. I don't sign people. Now, what happened today was one of the officials, they got a game back. They changed the time today from a 6 o'clock game, they made it 4:30. What I did is that it also told me the person who blocked out to 4:30, I will leave that up to you. You have a game, and all they went to earlier time. Sometimes, today, all the games, they were moving the games closer. I mean, earlier from a 6 o'clock game, I had 1 7 o'clock game, it moved to 4:30. A lot of 6 o'clock games, they was trying to beat the rain. So on days like that, if If you're closed out, it's something you get the option. If I don't text you, most of the time I do both text and email, and then it'll republish the game. They republish. I mean, you have to accept it or decline it. I understand that. I just want to make sure that if it's close enough that you say, look, hey, I think I can get off early enough to make that game, I'll leave that option up to you. It's times that you have a game like in what happened today. We had some suspended games. They moved them to tomorrow. If you already had a game tomorrow, if you go to that, get that game back, and that game is you have a double header next day, I would have. Sometimes I call and sometimes I make a decision like that. I think you would be better served as having a double header versus the single game. If that game is a varsity game, it's a middle school game. Well, I always err on the side of, as an official, what would I want to do? So again, a lot of times the game is rescheduled. It just rescheduled. That's why I say check the offer before you leave for that game. If it moves, it should send you a notification of a change, a text message and or email about that game. But if you have a game, I try to give that game back to you, the same to officials on that game. A lot of times I do that. It would tell me that person, or sometimes automatically, if you got an assignment in my group or another group, it will say that the official has a game in another group. It would automatically go to a bot and it would say unassigned. It'll unassign you. And so some of y'all call and say, look, why did I take you off the game? Well, the game changed. And Arbiter may have taken you off. I don't just take you off, because what it'll do, it'll automatically change the date or the time. It'll automatically go back and it'll keep the same people on the game unless there's a conflict. When I say about a conflict, one thing, guys, we had, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about the state of SSOA as it pertains to baseball and softball officials. As independent contractors, now we have, I wouldn't say an abundance of softball officials, but there's not one day so far, really, in 3 years. I'll just give you a background history here. 2020 started, we worked for 2 seasons, for 2 weeks. Started on the 2nd of March, our season was over on the 13th. Those 2 weeks, we've met all our requirements and everything else. We never had to tell a school we weren't able to do on the field. In 21, we had 7-week season. Most teams plays two games a week. They had 14 games. Again, never had to tell a school we didn't have enough officials for any particular game for that week, during the season. This year, middle school, JV, because the first 2 years we didn't really play JV. We didn't play middle school. We might have had just 1 week of middle school. Last 2 years we didn't have any. For a whole county, they played. We had 3 schools: Sandy Grove, East and West Hope. This year, that's not happening. However, there is some shortages throughout the nation, specifically in baseball for the Southeast. You do both baseball and softball. And I've had on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday, specifically those 4 days, I get requests from the baseball supervisor to ask to release you from your assignment. Okay, it happened every week of this season, and every day of the week except for Wednesdays. And now I got a text message from him, and I'm probably going to call him after I just called tonight. But we're covering the games. I have, first of all, if you want to be removed from your assignment, somehow you forget a wedding anniversary, you got a dental appointment, your vehicle, COVID, death in the family, whatever the case may be, you call me, you text me. Now, if it's the day of the game, I expect a call. If it's in 24 hours of the game, I like to say, you call. When you ask me to come off your game, for whatever reason, I'm going to remove you from the game. But again, my expectation is I want ethical, individuals. I want people with integrity. I'll tell you, integrity counts and character matters. So I'm not going to question his adult. If you hurt, and it happened. Someone called last week, on the weekend, they were doing some calls. It came, I couldn't perform. Someone doing basketball. Hey, you get hurt. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to question you, an adult. But again, I'm going to remove you from the game. You say that I want to go help someone else out. I mean, yeah, I got it. But another signer tell me to remove you from a game, I'm not going to do it. Okay. Go sign it. When I sign you to a game, because what can happen is, and this happened to me, is that when two assigners get together, I can remove you from your game, and then the other signer sign your game. I want to have to ask you, it's a rhetorical question. Do you have to accept their assignment? Okay, the answer is no. So I don't, but again, I told not only the baseball assigner, soccer assigner, and I would share that also with the lacrosse assigners, that have the individual, have the official, in this case, the umpire, contact me, text, email, phone call, and I'll remove them from the game. Okay. But I expect you to honor your assignments. But again, most of you, we don't have a problem with that. But again, some of you all don't know that whether you do. I don't know whether you do baseball. I know the 1st of March, and sometimes I just have to call by name. Randy Richard, Horace Small, Wayne Goodman, all softball officials only, not baseball officials. They went out and worked baseball games. Right? Again, they did that because they dedicated, they're professionals. I mean, those individuals would have used the one umpire system, may not even have gotten to play. I mean, guys, we have some, we hear the horror stories, but as an assigner, I'm proud to be on here tonight because on last Tuesday, when I came, just death in the family. And I was coming back from Florida, and I came back, and 4 games got covered by really people on this call. Those champions for those student athletes was J.C. Thomas, Michael Sabb, Ron Tyler, I guess, and I would say Eddie Melvin. He came from one game to another. Kevin Williamson and Richard Jones. We had 2 varsity games, a JV game. Well, we had the JV baseball, 2 varsity baseball games. I guess, and I'm sorry, 2 private school varsity games, public school varsity game, and a JV public school game. 3 varsity games and a JV game that they didn't have any officials. If it wasn't for J.C. Thomas, Michael Sabb, Eddie Melvin, Ron Tyler, Kevin Williamson, and Richard Jones, those games wouldn't have been played. A lot of times people give credit for supervisor. I would tell people, no, that's to do the work. Now, effective on Monday yesterday, Errol Daniels, the softball supervisor, I'm responsible for Cumberland County middle school baseball as well. Now, the middle school baseball program in Cumberland County, they played 2 weeks in 2020. I'll say 2 weeks. They probably played games to that 1 week because they didn't start the very first week. They didn't play last year at all. So this is the first time since 2019. Yesterday, they had 14 games. All 14 games had 2 officials on it. We have 15 middle schools. So one got to sit out every playing day. So we had 14 softball games, or 14 teams and softball, 14 teams playing baseball. And the only way they was able to play. Now, I have some regional championship and state championship officials out there on the middle school games. Distinguished Service Award winner, Honor Groves, was at the plate on a middle school game. Thomas Weaver, another Distinguished Service Award winner, out there on the game with her. Carol Buck, regional championships, conference tournament championships. college official. He was at the plate on a middle school game yesterday. His partner was Bob Wheeler. We just did a state championship in the private school this past softball season. I mean, Roger Latney did a baseball game. Chris Williams did, who did the state championship in the last year, doing at the plate on a middle school game. Like I said, his partner was Roger Latney. I worked at the plate, and Robert Edwards worked with me. All these people, the only way we was able to do this on yesterday, because of, and I say, I can thank you, and I will say that. I mean, but again, I will put this in writing. Now I will let the Cumberland County AD know that, hey, again, sometimes they gave me the task. It tell them I did not want to do it because I don't, but I will do it because this is for the betterment of the student athletes of those kids. I say that in Robeson County, Anthony Maynard does. He's a multi-sport official. It's football, basketball, baseball, softball. He's responsible for Robeson County. Jimmy Williams is a football official, state championship official. He does Bladen County and Columbus County. All right. And Cumberland, I mean, here, whoever the regional supervisor is responsible for Hope County, Sampson County, and Cumberland County. And I think Jason Graham is one of our basketball and football officials. He has Richmond County. All these officials, all these different counties, the responsibility comes on these individuals, but we all getting people out of the same pool. The goal was for Sampson County, and I think, and if Anthony's on the call, I think, and for Robeson County, they may be finished. They want to complete their season by spring break. Initially, that's what Sampson County want to do because of all the rain. They may not. I know Cumberland County, Sampson County, Hope County, this season, I mean, they play on Mondays and Thursdays. We have a lot of middle school games on Monday and Thursday. And Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Anthony and Robeson County, they play on Monday and Wednesday. Is that your days?
That is correct.
Okay. Anthony will probably also share. Now, again, and he may have to work that out. He has he has to, massage that sometime because of the weather and, we have enough officials in, guys. And Anthony, I know he would share this today. We don't have just middle school officials. We don't have AV officials. Of course, you should, hopefully, we want to have an official that can work at all levels. Okay? Official can work at all levels. Try to get the most people starting to get them at the lower level, to get them trained up, kind of show them what right looks like. And eventually you're going to go, and we want you to be able to work varsity. Every game that's played is entitled to have good officiating, a good umpiring. Now, Jimmy Williams does it. Now, Anthony has access to an arbiter. So that helps me and helps him. So he sees when I see those individuals have games. Again, that community involvement is good. We all been working at middle school forever, and that's great. I mean, but again, this year is more imperative because, again, to get that because those kids have not played. So now when you get down to baseball, I had to make a lot of changes on yesterday, Sunday. I've taken two people that was scheduled to do softball. Now when I got tasked with doing baseball, you can do both sports. So what I'm doing, and what I'm going to have to do tonight to get off the phone is I got to put the remaining scheduling Cumberland County. And so I went out all the assignments out through the 9th. Next assignment I'll make is on that Monday. It went through through the 9th to the 10th, 11th. That week, 11th through the 14th, I'll make those assignments, and it'll help because I have for that next week, because I both now and I have baseball, I won't hopefully be moving you around as much. I would put you in initially on a baseball game or a softball game. What I have to do for this week, now this Thursday, I'm gonna get some assignments tomorrow for Thursday and Friday. I know it's very unfortunate that we got some rainouts, but we have had 3 Thursdays in a row. I know in Cumberland County, we have not played baseball or softball. 3 Thursdays in a row, it's rained us out. So They're going to make those games up. They're going to have regular Thursday games. I'd already signed softball, but now I got to go put the schedule in, sign baseball for Thursday, and all the makeup games for both baseball and softball for middle school only Friday. And we had some games that today that was suspended. And I did get a call during the game, one game that was away. Remember, on a suspended game in North Carolina, we don't do the last inning. The team was in the top of the seventh, and rain. Our team was down. One team was playing Pender, so they was playing at their place, and they were down. But once you start that next inning, it's not going to be. You don't. In the book, in the rule book, it says you can go back to the last completed inning by both. Both teams have played equal number of innings. You can go back to the sixth inning, what the score was then. But we don't do that here. Once you start that next inning, it becomes a suspended game. I mean, the next time they play, or they would do it, it will go, and then what they'll do is that it's like in basketball, the point of interruption. If I ask you that your game is suspended, home plate umpire, preferably, the UIC will go and sign the book. That way, because there's no guarantee that you're going to go back when they play, even if it's the next day. So again, we had a game at Jack Britt, umpire already signed the game for Wednesday. He won't be coming back that next day. So you sign the book, they'll know. They go runs on base, how many outs, what's the score, all that stuff already being. You don't have to ask questions. And no, that wasn't the case. Sign the book, and then that the home book. You can sign both books if they have. But Bennett game is not like you get in the five, and before you get to the sixth, that's a completed game. Both teams got same equal time as that, or it's 4.5, and the home team is winning. Once you start that next inning, then it becomes a suspended game. So in that case, and that's what we have a lot today. I will add some of those games. So some of you, if you think you have don't have games for the rest of the week, if you think that's kind of thing, I will have probably 7, at least 10, 11 games on Friday that I didn't have before. I will have at least 7 games on Thursday that I didn't have before. So I got to go sign those. I'll try to sign those to people in the local area. That's what we do. Like I said, Roberts County signed their games for the officials that are living in that community. But again, we try to do the same thing in Sampson County, Hope County, but it's not, they're based on the number of officials. You will travel, but the travel will be minimal. That case. But again, it's middle school baseball. And just, guys, again, the way this, it's important that I think the baseball sign put out Tuesdays and Fridays. Those are big days for varsity. Monday and Thursdays, a lot of middle school. Now, because of all the rain and different things, people moving, a lot of moving parts. Had people show up at games today. I just got a text. East Hope somebody was there today. You go to a game, one day, a couple of officials are less early, which is a good sign. 3:15, no one was there. And later on, I called the AD. Look, they do have a game. The team showed up. Looked like, hey, nobody there. The field's not marked. Don't just leave and assume. I called. East Hope 2 days in a row. I had officials go out there. No one was there. Now I'll follow up on that. Now, thing is, look, whether that's mistake is about a supervisor here being myself or the school, certain things have to happen. Does it have a game fee, full game fee? We get a trade. I don't like the idea of, people, they'll tell me about a change. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they forget. It's because, but my time is worth more. I don't want to drive a long way when we try to have a game fee or full game fee. Be geared for a game. So again, I tell them if it's weather, try to get that by 2 o'clock. In fact, I was asking, notified today probably about 3 officials of the local and told the school, they changed the game. I said only one 6 o'clock game. One game was at 7. They changed that 4:30. Another game was at 6. I tried, if I haven't got a weather decision on the day where I think, inclement weather is imminent, it's coming, but no matter what time, I will call the school and let them know, look, Your game starts at 4. They need to tell me about 2 o'clock. I really don't have anybody going that. I mean, that
Harold.
4. If you can, yes.
So we have a question in the chat to your previous statement about signing the book. It's starting to become more prevalent of the iPads being used as scorebooks. What do we do in this situation if the iPad is the scorebook?
Or if they got this gamekeeper or they got something on there, let's have them on there. They can put, hey, at some point, you can put it, let's have them write your name on there. They'll just put in there. They're going to, when the game ends, right there, suspended in the 4th inning, 2 out, and they put whatever the batting order. So up in there. They just have them put it in there. They go to that point and do that. Then that's when you just, okay, and then put your name in. And you say, yeah, it's Chris Williams. You just type in Chris, you put CW, UIC. Okay. So at that point, whatever they end, because they got several different things electronic that they can do. They just said that they would just stop and put where they are in the game. They'll put the score, where they are, 2 outs, top or the bottom, and then they say your initials, and next to put your initials and put comma UIC. That's all right. So then the next day, when that's suspended game, great job today, guys. Roger Palmer, everybody who didn't finish the game, either I got a text and or a phone call today. And I get that. What I'll do is I'll put that in the notes. So the next day you go, they won't start off. Hey, can we just start over? No, it's going to that. The other day, I mean, somebody came in there, the score was 0-0 and the top of the 6. Goes again. Now, when they do that, because they will go, sometimes they would like they'll want to start over. Want to do something, it's going to benefit somebody. Sometimes they, okay, like a gentleman agreement, JV game, they want to play the whole thing. I'm not going to do that.
Hey, Harold,
Yes.
if you get an ejection or a disqualification or a restriction, that needs to be annotated also.
Hey, here we go. I'm glad he said that. Now, this because that's what happened. Hey, look, I'm not going to call Willie out. See, but Willie Wellbrock.
I didn't do it.
I know you didn't. Look, now that you said that, you didn't do it. I will tell you. I want to say who did it, but I would say, look, Mr. Wellbrock is the among other things, he's also the president of the Boots Club at Jack Britt. But I did get
You ain't
the
supposed
call.
to tell everybody that.
No. Look here. This is just us. This is family. This is family here. This is a dysfunctional family, but we have. All right. Now, if you got restricted, you had an ejection, because I got that from the 80 day. So when you go to the next day, guess what? It's the same game. You still are ejected. You restricted. Okay. So I didn't get that question.
Right, no, but if you get a new official, a new umpire that comes to call that game,
right. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah.
that needs to be annotated in there.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Anything about that game as it pertained, there was a fan removed or anything like that. But look, when you tell me that, I will probably be the one to go to that game the following day. I got to make sure. I will tell you, and again, anything that pertains to that, it's good to know if it's an ejection or restriction, something like that. I will probably put that in, and I will talk to the umpires who go on the next day to tell you, look here, is this here? I mean, it's nothing to cover really at the plate meeting other than to the head coach. Hey, I have the report. I've talked to the supervisor. When you look them in the eye, hey, they should know. Hey, look, you don't have to go up. Hey, he told me X was whoever the case may be. I don't want to see him that now. We don't go out there with an attitude. We just go out there. We expect them to do the right thing. But I will let the officials that's going there, the UIC, know, like, this is what I have. In this case, like I say, it's going to be very easy because there's only one situation where because that question was brought up. That's anything pertains to that game. If you had a player, another thing we have an issue with, as I say that, is jury. I don't understand why. I would tell you, when you ask the coach at the plate meeting, there's 2 things. We do. After we do our introductions, we address 2 things. We address what? Sportsmanship, and are your players and your equipment, in accordance with the National Federation, are they legal and properly equipped? We want to make sure the equipment is what? Within the standards of the National Federation. We want to know if your players legal and properly equipped. To include what? No jury. All right. All the other excess. Now, at that, the only answer we're going to accept is Yes. If they're not, well, not at this time. Okay, well, you need to do what? Get them that way. Okay. Now, when they say that, I mean, we're not gonna have a clinic. Well, in the first offense is what? What's the first offense? Is it a warning?
Warning.
What is it?
Well, it's a
So when
warning.
they said, when the coach says, yes, illegal and improper equip, what does that mean?
Well, the next one says that you put them in the dugout.
Right. I mean, who you put in the dugout?
You put the coach in the offending
The offender and the what coach? The head coach.
head coach, correct?
Basically, he or she told you what? They
They
were,
don't care what you
no,
enforce.
when they told you they were,
Legally
you.
and properly equipped.
right, and they don't know what that means. Coach, you understand? Most of the time when you ask them a question, you're like a lawyer. Most of y'all, hey, a whole lot of lawyers, right? Look here. Y'all already know the answer because y'all see the kid out there. Saw the earrings there. You see the band-aids on their ears. Look, again, preventive officiating, coach. Just tell them what that means. Coach, first offense is restriction of the player and the head coach.
Harold,
And again,
can I touch a little on that for a second? Because
Yes.
at Cherry Stanford, we had a young lady that the UIC noticed that she had a nose earring before the game started, but then she came out with a Band-Aid on her nose. And the question was asked to her, do you have a piercing in your nose right now? She said no. We don't go as far as to say, well, you need to remove that Band-Aid so I can see.
if that's the question, absolutely not. We're not
Right.
right. But again, we don't. Hey, now when you say, "Do you have a piercing? Do you have an earring?" Now, when you ask someone that, I mean, if you're not gonna look underneath it, don't ask. Why do they have a Band-Aid on their nose?
Yep. No, I understand, but I'm just
No,
saying.
what I'm saying. Now, I know a lot of this audience here, not like this. I'm looking at the age of most of these people on here. Y'all ever saw LL Cool J? You see what he does? He went out with the Band-Aid on and stuff. Look, man, that Band-Aid on their nose, that Band-Aid on their ear. There's nothing about Band-Aids. Again, Coach, we asked this is an honor system. And that's why I say, hey, we know why they're doing that. And in one game they had where the pitcher had no problem. Now, if you're the catcher, pitcher, the people in close proximity, you're gonna see the pitcher came up, changed the ball, came up, talked to the catcher, and the umpire saw where she had a nose ring. Now, varsity game, now the player has a nose ring and they're the pitcher. We had in the middle school game on yesterday. But when they took the pitcher out of the game on the middle school, because he had a nose ring, I mean, because he had jury on, and then the coach went in the dugout. How do you think the game ended? How well you think that was played when you take a middle school pitch out, starting pitch? I will tell you, like I said, they only played 2 innings. Look, again, let's emphasize, coach. If you see it, hey, coach, they Band-Aids, again, we don't allow, and because somebody's going to ask you in court when that ball hit them or something happened, punctured their nose or something like that. As an umpire, what did you think was underneath that Band-Aid? Well, I thought, but he said, I'm just saying that's not a good coach. Tell the coach, no jury is allowed. We do things you're required to do, what I want you to do. What I think we want to keep the game safe and fair. We're not keeping the game safe.
She had that Band-Aid on today too, and I just left it alone.
Okay, now, that's good. See,
I didn't even ask her.
right, that's right. That's what I'm saying, Tony. Great, because again, I'll do that. Because if you ask, that means now you're going to subject yourself to go, well, why'd you ask? You know it. I mean, so that's why I say we're not going to look under. Don't ask. Great, Tony. But thanks for bringing it up. That's what I'll do. I will tell that to the AD. No,
Yeah, we didn't ask her. We just, it was
Right.
the fact that the UIC seen it, made the comment, And since
Right.
she came out with a Band-Aid on, I'm like, I'm not gonna go and touch it.
No. Again, the same thing. Like somebody just put the shirt up, they do something, you see a bell ring. I mean, they talking, they don't know. We did that before. You talk to a player of basketball, hey, guess what? They got tongue ring. Again, always a coach. I'll address that because again, I guarantee you, and again, for everybody here, if you're not gonna look under, you're not gonna do that, I don't even ask them. Because they know some might be truthful. Yeah, what do you have on there? Now you have to get. So those like that, I'll address that. I'll send an email to the AD in the morning. Okay, and just tell them, look, hey, it's not the first time. I don't want to go because they'll do it. They'll go back and see who's on the game. Or that must have been this person. That must have been Earl. He did no. It's not the first time. But that's why I guess these clinics are good because some things they do that continue. Same thing what it brought up about the thing when somebody get ejected or something like that. If something happens in your game and it is something odd. That's why I asked it when you tell me about some things that happens kind of, unique. They should know it's not necessarily because all in softball and baseball, people know they play home and away. Serious, they play twice. It's good to know if there was some issues the last time. This batter was hit and some words exchanged. Well, in a handshake line, they did this, did that. So when you go, you gotta be, hey, you just gotta know. Just put it in the back of your mind. Really, not that so when something develops, you kind of know you might have to tighten up a little bit more. Or be just cognizant of. So I will definitely address that. Now, I guess while we're talking about that, now another thing that's come up that I've seen, courtesy runners. We're not applying the courtesy runner. I don't have the book, the actual page in there, but the whole premise of the courtesy runner. I'll be sending some things out this week and as we go further on a routine basis, just one subject. Everybody can get things in small bites. But the courtesy runner is someone that has not played in the game. All right. You courtesy run, they can only run for the pitcher or catcher, not and catcher. It can't be the same player. Now, I was at games where, and we don't want to get things mixed up with the travel softball. It's not the last out. Okay. And it's happened in my middle school game yesterday. But hey, player had been in the game, they're going to courtesy run. They put the last out in. No, coach, you can't do that. Wait. In fact, I was in the game the other day, and somebody, the head coach told me, I need to tell the rest of my officials that. In fact, it was a baseball game I was working. Okay, all right, coach, you can't do it. He didn't. That's his way of telling me that. Okay, getting smart, but I just took it. But so if someone's in the game, substituting, once they become a player in the game, once they come in the game, they need to go back out. It can't be this is up. That's what that courtesy run is for. This guy asked me, what if I don't have 9 players? And I'm looking at like, okay. What do you mean? What if I don't have 9 players? I got to run for himself.
Yep.
And he just didn't understand. I would say, again, read, it's a page in the back about the courtesy run. But the courtesy
Page
runner,
74, Errol.
there you go. It's on. I know it's separate. Just read it. If you have a question, ask your opponent in pregame. Should be a text message. Should be an email. You don't understand. But that courtesy runner, and once they say in the same half inning, and those, and then really, when you're the home team, because when the home team finishes batting, what happens? They go to the next inning. So that person who courtesy runs, you can't courtesy run, and you run, you bat around, and the next time they want to bat. So I'm saying, just read that, and because again, some teams, and I had a coach call me this year and asked the same thing, and she was asking about the opponent. Well, they let them do this here, they let them do it. I think they do travel ball. I said, okay, coach, we'll get it straight. We don't worry about travel ball. It's not the last out. It's not 2 out. You have mandatory run for the catcher. Anytime the pitcher and catcher, it don't matter what count is on the following batter, they can go out at third base. It doesn't matter. They can, it is also say what the pitcher of record, not projected. He's going to catch next inning. We want to, because it's going to waste time. No, Well, who's the catcher now? You got a lineup card. All right. You know who's the catcher? Who's the pitcher? I mean, so again, if you ask it, was he the catcher now? I mean, because what they'll substitute, but be careful with the courtesy runs, because that is an advantage. I mean, they normally don't take that's a strategy thing. Okay, so it's not just we play, let's say, speed up rules, it's not, but it's never meant. So if you got 9 players, we're not gonna have a courtesy run. Okay, you got 10 softball, you got the flex. You're not gonna have a courtesy run, because often. All right. The substitutions, all substitutions should go through the home plate umpire. Okay. They tell you can go, you don't need to go, and some of you all over in the dugouts, I don't know if you're over there getting freshmen, signing autographs, doing, look, stay at the dugout. All right. You don't need to go over there and and I know previous supervisors look at names. If it's in the game, if you got 10 run rule or something like that, they come in the box. Sometimes, like I did yesterday, I'm looking at it, coach, 15. It don't matter who was supposed to be here. 15's in the box now. we probably need 2 outs. And look here, whoever's coming is back. All right. So when the substitute comes up, just make sure you tell them, because again, they're not unreported. I mean, it's just courtesy. They're keeping a book. You might ask that before the game. Don't go looking, well, coach, who's keeping the book? Sometimes they come up, the coach gives you the wrong number of this person. Hey, try to do preventive officiating, especially the lower level. All right. Some of them don't know when they got the wrong person in the batting order. I mean, the wrong person up at bat. And they make the one pitch and they all, okay, no, this person should be there. Okay, remember, okay, thanks, coach. You're gonna have a problem once they say, okay, coach, get the right bat up here. No, he should be out. No, coach, you're just a little bit impatient. You should let them complete their turn. That's what. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. Again, know what happens with batting out of order. Okay. When do you get them out? All right. But the substitutions, offense or defense, they can stop. Let them know on their trips to the mound. Okay. In a 7-inning game, I've seen it this year so far, when somebody came out twice in the same inning. What do you think we made them do when they came out twice in the same inning? Talk to the pitcher. I'm not saying what should we do. What do you think we made them do? If I'm asking the question, what do you think? What we made them do? Right. So should we do that?
No,
In a 7-inning game, how many times they can come to how many visits they got? They got 3, right? Again, look, don't tell them if you come out again, you got to say, most of the time I tell you, if they go out and make a change, especially when they with the pitcher, I mean, because now we got a little bit of baseball and all. Understand that they get in a 7-inning game. Now, go ahead, because we're going to have this conversation. The game goes in the 8th inning, then what we have?
Why?
Got another visit, right? Okay. Again, it's 2 of you all out there. That's why I say all the games that I'm assigned, we're going to have 2 officials. I mean, on order. Now, unfortunately, we had yesterday a new person went to the wrong place. But for the most part, we got 2 officials out there. There's no reason for you to know every single thing. And if you don't know, I have no problem with that. But again, I don't think anything gonna happen in that game where I would have 2 officials and between the 2 of y'all don't come with the right answer. I mean, I just don't believe that. I mean, nobody can say that. That's not me. That's you. Because I put experienced officials and new officials and 2 experienced officials together and all. But again, if something comes up, I just feel confident that you're going to make the right decision. You're going to make the right ruling. So, but definitely talk to one another. Say, look here. And if somebody has different knowledge, that's what we're going with. Because, like, again, some things I think, some things I know. Right? Some of the things I know, I'm going to tell you. All right. So don't be, when you get together, because you got the plate equipment on. I mean, that game you're the UIC. Use your partner. Okay. And I'll tell you, when I say use your partner, now partner, the home plate umpire, the UIC is doing their business. Let them do it. Let them call for you. We have a lot of people, I say a lot, but too many times so far this season where someone has come down to interject their opinion, their view unsolicited, unwarranted, and unnecessarily. Okay, and all that does is put stuff into the game that we don't need. Now, if y'all want to talk about it afterwards, I didn't, I think Anthony Mena, well, Brock, yeah, well, hey, you could have handled this in a different manner. Look, hey, I might come in and ask you, what was that about? Hey, look, hey, okay. I'm not going to talk to a coach, assistant coach or head coach, which shouldn't be talking to assistant coach at all anyway. But I'm not going to talk to that assistant coach and say, well, yeah, I think, because most of us can explain everything happens in the game. Whether you agree or disagree, I know why he did it. I know what the call was. Man, I saw it that way. But when we start telling someone about someone else's call, we're asking for trouble. Okay, because that's when I get phone calls. It's not necessarily that, well, I'm only calling you because Mr. Daniels and he told me I should call you. What? Because Mr. Webb brought out the plate. He did this. What? Again, let's don't do that. I mean, again, when I say complaints, the issues I had so far this season, the few calls or things I've had, it was not about play interpretation. It wasn't about judgment. And most of the time in softball, it's about what? Being approachable and how you address the coach. Okay. And what we said earlier about they in the dugout, they out of here. You don't need to threaten the coach. You don't need to say that, hey, coach, if I find a player with jury at the plate meeting, look, you and that player gonna be out of here. That's not, to me, that's unnecessary. Hey, look, coach, you can ask the coach, are you aware of penalty? The penalty is the offender, the player, and the head coach. Sometimes it's like, coach, it's you and that player got to go. No, we don't. That's what the penalty is. When things happen, everything that's a violation has a penalty. I mean, if you warn them, how about it when you warn them, even though you can write it in between ends, most times and where we work and in our life, people don't take you seriously, you've been in writing. So when you do something, if you do warn them, do not use the term, coach, that's your first warning. Because if you tell them that's your first warning, what do they expect? A second one, right? And take it over. So you can say, coach, that's your warning. That means the next time it's going to be something else. So we don't use the term first warning. Because when you say first warning, that's what, again, what you say and what they hear might be two different things. If you told me that's my first one, I'm thinking, okay, got another one. So just be careful with the words you use. That's a warning. Now you can pick it in, you can put out the little book, you don't have to write nothing on it. But you act like you write. You know you warned them. You do it, put it back in the, hey, you know, he'll ask you, well, what was the warning? You know, what happened? You can explain it. Now, again, that's the only thing. I mean, I've not seen a whole lot of other things that I've not heard. I did the one about the pitching, and one guy sent me a video. I sent it up to Randy Rich. I sent it to a couple of people. Let them take a look at it. I went to the game the other day when the hands came together. Clearly, I thought it was no violation. But if somebody sends something in, I normally just don't look at it myself. I look at the rule. I go and I'm gonna send it to one of y'all, let you take a look at it again. Because then sometimes you got to see it in the game. You got to see what's happening in the game. I mean, we don't want to get so technical. Once we start calling this, I mean, that player, everywhere they go, it's not just that team. They're going, I mean, we're gonna have to do that. I mean, I owe it to, because we don't want to, we can tell the pitcher or the catcher or whatever, they got to use the wrong size glove or whatever the case may be. Again, I had a game yesterday where the numbers, instead of that one solid line underneath, they had, one person had the numbers, they had the cross underneath. Again, hey, let's get that early before the game. And we walk there, if you see one person in violation, coach, and tell the captain or the coach. Football used to bring a lot of captains at the plate meeting. Now it's just the coaches trying to come out there. Coach, you have several players that don't have the mark, and they got it. And just tell them, let them handle it. Okay? Because now you're going to see them when they come up to the bat. You can, like, some of the catches where excess there, sometimes I'll say, look, you go in at this inning, don't come back out of it. I mean, you can do that in the older, in the varsity, in the JV, in middle school. I mean, again, if you try to get some honor, the JV player, they say they forgot, they probably did. I mean, in middle school. Again, let's make sure when you see someone not within the standard, let's address that. All they're doing is making it harder for the next person. Everybody always say, well, the last officials, okay, we got it. I understand. I'm glad Willie brought that up. I'm glad Tony said that tonight. Because when they go out there, I'm the 80, look, again, that's all they, time you make the correction, they should be playing with all your, what is it? Coach, I'm going to tell them, look, again, Bishop made me aware. We don't want to make, again, that's all they do. I mean, the tennis has been great this year, but the heckling has been, seems like even more. Ever since, I had a game, I worked several games this year in baseball, not softball. And I've had a couple, ever since the Oscars, ever since they had that thing that night, Will Smith name's been brought up. I guess that means they would come out and slap me at the home plate. I don't know what, but everybody feel like they had that stuff. Me and J.C. Thomas did. We had to remove because it's together, a spectator. He was winning. And he left like he was leaving, and he stood behind me. Again, guys, it get to the point where people communicate, dress, and just people come to enjoy the game. I mean, what we're not going to do is just take abuse. And at some point during this season, I mean, like over the next couple of weeks, probably early on, I'm gonna ask Tony. He has a website that on social media about stop referee abuse, and he can tell you some of the things. And he's had to kick some people off the chat. I mean, kick it off. I mean, we have to have the tolerance. But what I don't expect is, hey, we got different tolerance level. Or something bring this report to the game. For some things out of line, we just can't just tolerate. Okay, we just can't do that. I mean, we're going to be oversensitive and everything else. But again, some things are just not good for the game when we allow things to just continue. So, I mean, I've noticed some things. I mean, sometimes they get off a good one, as long as it's not personal. I have no problem with it. But again, they get to where, we know what it is when you get across the line. We just got to be able to get that game day administrator. Now, when you go in at the plate meeting, I want you to know who the game day administrator. We got the 2 coaches, we have 2 officials across. Hey, that's that on coach. Who's your game day administrator? A lot of times when you say that, they look around. Okay, he's not here. She's not here. Look, what's their name? And you say, if they just tell you what the name is, where they're going to be. Because the other night we had one, we was looking around, and then he asked, do I need to come on the field? No, you need to go get that. Then the guy didn't leave. They get the deputy. We waited. It took too much time. Okay, just ask where they're going to be. They're going to be in the press box. They're going to be somewhere. You're going to be taking the tickets at the gate. We just need to know. Okay, because we know what we don't want to do. Everybody's kind of standing around. We're not going to throw another pitch until what? They're gone. I mean, they have to be out of sight, out of sound. So again, just ask who the game day administrator. If they don't have one, they don't know who it is. Here it goes. Hopefully, what? He's not a problem. Okay. Anybody got any questions? And anything they want to be addressed? Anything in the chat line, Don, we need to address? All right. Like I say, we have. I'm going to, as soon as I get the matchups, I might not even have the matchups. I will start putting the games for the 16th. And I mean, of course, I'm gonna put games out. I got to put this middle school schedules in for baseball for Cumberland County today, tomorrow. I mean, because like I say, games gonna be on Thursday, added for Thursday and Friday this week. So I'll make up on the 25th. You're gonna have some makeup games as well. Because I think that season was gonna be over. I'll put out the strength games they changed the Sampson County Middle School playoffs. They changed those dates. They changed the Cumberland County strength games. I'll put that out. And I'll put the different rounds for the playoffs for high school. I'll put those out. But again, let's start. I mean, I will be sending out someone do a class on the DP Flex. We talk about obstruction. We talk about the difference in the immediate dead ball and they delayed dead ball, some different things. But guys, we've had a lot of good games. We've had a 14-inning game. We've had 11-inning game. I mean, 1-0. We've had some very good softball, very competitive. Our girls program in this year, volleyball, and basketball, and now softball, and outstanding. In basketball, we had 13 home first-round basketball games hosted by the girls. This conference we have, the U8, is rated the #1 3A, 4A conference in the state. So when we get, some of y'all have not seen some of these teams. I don't want you to get over familiar, but again, later on in the season, we'll get, and I said we get those 3 umpires systems going. Again, I'll put that out because if you haven't seen it work and you're available, the first time we're going to use 3 umpires is going to be this Saturday, the 9th, at Grace Creek at 11 and 1. You have access to the calendar. So take advantage of that. And again, on the baseball, I mean, those that have worked, I'm in the process. I'll be talking, like I say, to the signer, not tonight, definitely tomorrow morning, not only to kind of assist him with some other things, but some of you all are aware that, I mean, I would say the game that I asked Randy, Horace Hall, and Wayne Goodman to do, 2 of those games were of the private school. And if you got, just like J.C. Thomas, when he worked, and Ron Tyler, they worked games for baseball program, they had to be added to that Auburn in order to be put over that game. So now that the game is played, now it's time to get paid. So I'll be working as make sure everybody is paid in the right manner. When I say that, because again, if you have a suspended game, if you just go do that suspended game, you should get a full fee. Now, if you go to that suspended game and it's followed by another game, the suspended game is a half a game fee, and the regular game is a regular fee. For tomorrow, whoever's going to Jack Britt, if Jack Britt only has, I talked to the AD there as well, they just have their suspended game, that's just a full game fee. Because I was asked that question, some of these ADs in their first year, and they're going to pay whatever they should be paying whatever we put on that. But again, so if you have going to do a suspended game only, it should be a full game fee. And she asked me the day later, this is the date, yes, full game fee. What about tomorrow? Same ones come back, it doesn't matter. Full game fee unless you're playing 2 games. That means suspended game, you half a game, that. But anytime you have a game, I mean, when I put the baseball in, I had to go put some things in. If you ever have a game it's got zeros on there and it's not a scrimmage, text me. Because I did tell Scotland, share it with them. They're not paying us. Look at, I don't have any officials that work softball for free. Not that I know of. Everybody here work, expect to get paid. I'm not offended by that. If you think the fee is wrong or something like that, hey, feel free. Look, trust me, I don't want that. I want to be the signer that you can talk to as far as later when you get down to it. I explain it to you. All right, because there's one person today got a fee that like I say, if you look, last thing now, Red Springs, if you did Red Springs and softball previously, they used to play at Industrial Park. Now they play at Norwood Park, right across from Coke Park. But I put the address in there so you can see it. So if you got a game at Red Springs, you're gonna see Norwood Park. Look at the address, 119 Graham. I had to put it in there. Now for Westover softball, they play at Ponderosa Elementary School. Address is 311 Bonanza, but I didn't want to put just 311 Bonanza, so I got in there. The home games, I had to go change that. They play at Ponderosa Elementary School. So I think Willie was over there and he asked questions. Some people have been there before. So and you see the don't just assume when they say like E.E. Smith, they played at Ferguson Easley Elementary School right across. Also, they played this year, they play at Layman Street. They played at both. So just know, E.E. Smith, don't assume, just look at the site on there. Okay, so again, if you call your partner, and even sometimes it changes. I know it changes that day. Normally I get notified. It's a block that I can check when they say email. If you remove from a game, email the officials, it tells both officials. You just get a game, you know you have that game, call your partner. Sometimes they might get it, they may not look at it. They just know. When I talk to Herman Lewis and I say, okay, Herman, we're gonna work together. And Herman get taken off the game. I don't go back and look, and when I get hey, they replace Herman, and the new person on my game is Dwight Shepard. Dwight know he just got the game today. Hey, don't just assume, just call them and just make sure y'all coordinate. This is where the school is, this is where it is. So because they say we do have some new officials, and sometimes they look, and next year we're gonna have Union Pines. This year we don't. We're gonna have Union Pines and Union. We have New Century. It's a New Century somewhere up in Southern Pines area in Moore County. We have a New Century International here. So it can happen. And we had that several times. This year where we would show up home versus away. And again, honest mistakes, call somebody, let them know. And that's all I have. Like I say, again, if you can work, now I've reached out, the requirement for middle school is not the same as high school. So I've reached out to some of the local officials that do Parks and Rec. Just have not been working for a while. I mean, it's not current. They got us through. I mean, Roger Latner, to Robert Edwards, Thomas Brown, a lot of people that I called on just to come out to get us through on Monday. I mean, I really appreciate it. And I know those parents and those players really appreciate it. Those are, like I say, those experienced officials. A long time since you've been on a middle school game at the plate. For Chris Williams, Darryl Buck on the Groves. I mean, hey, kudos out to you all. I mean, that just shows how the dedication you have, and hey, much respect. Subject to everybody questions. Thanks for Tom Weaver came out, and Tom was like, hey, he says, hey, he's available for Monday, Wednesday, Monday and Thursday. Again, guys, that's what it's going to take. It's take a team effort to get through, because it's going to be tough. Like I say, it's going to be a tough year for everybody. And I know I'll be asking a lot of some of you. Again, thanks for what you do. John, nothing else in the chat. Make sure you sign in. This will be on video. I mean, you go back and look at it. Someone is not here right now. We had 41 out of the 102 people I invited. And it was short notice. I'll put some more things out. Again, get the administrative stuff done. I don't want to police people up to say, hey, look, you ain't done this, you haven't done this. Again, that's part of being a good official. Good official take care of all their requirements.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I put a couple comments in there. One of them was, do you have hard copies of the rule books available?
Hard copies of the rule book. When I say I don't, but the latest I will get now. Normally, when we get the rule books, it's a package. You get an umpire's manual, which tell you how we officiate the game, position and everything else. We get a case book and we get a rules book. If you need that, if you didn't receive that, because normally that's the registration, but the registration is just closed, we don't need it for middle school, just send me an email, just send me a text. Send me a text or email. I'll get that for you.
Okay, next question. Can that concussion course still be taken?
Oh,
at this
absolutely.
point?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure. And send that. If you need that, I'll send the link to you.
Okay,
I will send that link to you.
you mentioned a couple fees, registration fees and a couple of other ones. Can you go back over that?
Yes, it's a sign-in fee, which now Richard Hubert is came here, and he's going to jump in with both feet. I mean, he reached out to me the other day and sent him an email. I've got in contact with Ernie, and the only fees you will do this year will be this SSOA, the $20, and I'll send you that link. Everything you need there, Mr. Hubert, when I say that, Michael Hubert, I will send that to you.
Okay.
Everything you need, okay? And I think you received an email from Ernie Fisher today too, right? Didn't
I
Ernie
don't think I
Fisher?
got anything for him today.
Oh,
Yeah, for him. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you get both. Yeah,
I did.
now you go see some other faces on here, Mr. Hubert. You see that it's somebody got to get down there. Name is Rhonda. Rhonda Grove. She's works at Rhonda. Don't look at that.
Downtown.
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah, I
there
know
you go. See,
Rhonda.
all right,
Yeah.
got it.
Mhm.
All right, Rhonda. When you start officiating, everybody gonna be reaching out to you. Trust me. All right. Right. So again, we're gonna keep you engaged. All right, we're gonna need every single person this year to kind of get through this year, guys. I mean, we're gonna have to, I mean, hopefully we get to the finish line. I mean, because right now, we're trying to get to the week. One time I was saying we can just get to spring break. Right now, we're trying to get through the end of the week. I'm gonna put things in there. Let's do our best to keep each other straight.
I put in the chat the the concussion course,
Okay.
SSOA.
Gotcha, I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody got anything else? Now, for Dwight Shepherd, now tomorrow, I got now, Hope County has a doubleheader. Right? And they were playing Jack Britt. Jack Britt sent me, they're gonna play their suspended game tomorrow against Lumberton. So, right, I think you and Roger Williams on that game. It's gonna be some changes. I just sent a question there. I sent a question back to the AD and said, look, what do y'all want to do? I know that game done changed once, twice already. Now it's gonna probably change again. They may play the JV game over there, but they're gonna play varsity at Jack Britt against Lumberton. All right, and the crew there today helped y'all out because they got rid of assistant coach already. And if it is one game only, guys, I'll put it on there. I know to your email and a text. But it's gonna be some changes tomorrow. Gonna be some, make sure, like I say, it's a game that's suspended. I would tell you, suspended game and give them enough time to ask them whether they, like I say, whether they have a home book or they have the iPad or they have some electronic device with all where the game was. And just, you go over to the plate meeting, go over to both. This is what I have. It's when I looked at the book, hey, I have 2 outs, run on first, number 5 batter coming up in the right, whatever, and a 2-2 count, whatever the case may be. Score is this. And they can sit there because once you do it, once we start playing, hey, that's off. And they may make some changes to that. But again, that's how we're gonna start the game off. And that's all I have. Going once.
Hey, Errol, you mentioned the future meetings. Are they going to be on Tuesdays every time?
No, Monday. 'Cause
Mondays?
yes. Now I said Monday won't be this late. I said because Monday we had the 4 o'clock games. Most of the games on Monday I want to do on Monday because that is middle school day, and I say about 7:15, 7:30, if that. And I will have. I'm glad Daryl asked that question because Daryl did a class a few years ago on the DP Flex. So, I mean, I'm just using him for example. I may just have him record it and he can play it. John, put it on the line, you can just go listen to it.
Mr. Daniel.
Yeah. So again, I mean, but I want to do it on Mondays because I know baseball does it on. I mean, I don't want to get weekend time. You got travel basketball, we got travel softball, we got AU this, got all this stuff going on the weekends. It's kind of tough. So on Monday nights, because we're not saying for the most part, we have middle school and all those games at 4 o'clock, and most of them have 2-hour time limits.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes, sir.
hey, this is Ron.
I know it, Ronald Tyler.
Yeah, I think I've got everything paid up on mine. Is any way you know about that or?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna
Well, I
check
am
it.
good.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say you good, but I'll say you paid. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
all I want to know. Yeah.
That's all I'm telling you. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Anybody else
sir.
want to put their public stuff out there now? All right. If you don't know you paid, don't speak up now. I don't want people thinking, especially your veteran officials.